Welcome, this is Anta with Repro Products. Today's video is on how to apply paint material from a website such as Sherwin Williams to your Revit model. I have Revit 2020.1 open up, and I have a Revit model that I created with some basic walls. Each wall has a specific paint color applied to it, which is based off of some colors from Sherwin Williams. These colors happen to be the color of the year choices from 2014 up till today. And as you can see in the saved 3D view, you've got a 2014 exclusive plum, coral reef, alabaster, and so on. So the question really for this video is, how do I go about creating these materials and applying them to the wall? What I did was I started a brand new Revit project. So we can head over to File, New, Project. I'll use the architectural template file as a starting point. And then I just used a standard generic wall, generic 8 inches, and I drew my walls. And then I took the wall and I arrayed it however many times I needed to create as many different wall types that I wanted. And then I created a 3D view to look at, like so. I then went ahead and set my current view to home so it looks nice from here. And they're all exactly the same thing. So you can apply materials either through the material makeup of the definition of the system family, in this case walls, or you can use the paint command and apply the paint material to the wall itself. And then there are other ways as well. So to make it simple and easy, I'm going to start with the first one, head over to the type properties, and we're going to rename this wall whatever kind of wall type that we want that gives us a description of the material of paint that we're dealing with. Now, I also have Chrome opened up on the second window here. And if we take a look at Sherwin Williams' website, you can obviously search for any material that you want. But this one is called Exclusive Plum, and that's the 2014. Here's a 2015 color, and so on. All right. So we're going to use this website and help pull the color that we need and get the RGB data that we need as well. So let's start with picking a color that we want to work with. I'm just going to randomly pick something, okay? So let's just type in SW space 7 just to see what 700 series that we have. And I'll just let's do this positive red just for fun. And so this is the color that we're dealing with that we want to apply. And if I click the details, we can see what the RG and the B designations are for that positive red color. And it's 6871. So let's take this wall and let's rename it SW 6871. Now that we've renamed it, we can go into the structure, click Edit. And in here, we can go into the material of it. If we scroll down into the current list of materials that are in this project, you're going to see the materials that are SW space and the naming convention for all the ones that we worked with. On the previous file, it would list them. On this new file, it doesn't show anything. We know it's a paint that we want to apply. So I'm just going to type in paint in the search. And I'm going to use the generic paint material that comes shipped with the software, which is in the library down here. I'll click this arrowhead or double click paint and it gets pushed up here. So then I can rename this the name that I want. In this case, it's SW6871. Let me double check. Yep. And then I'm also going to call it 6871, but I'm also going to put it as positive red, just so it's a little easier to understand. Now that the naming convention is there, if we go to the Identity tab, we can see the name here. I'm going to copy it to the Windows clipboard because I want to be able to go to the Appearance tab, click here where their name is, and change it from Cool White to the name that I'm dealing with. You'll also notice that you have a Graphics tab and an Appearance tab. The Graphics tab, basically you can change the RGB so that it shows you the color in the Revit model if you go to shaded or consistent color. The RGB color that we need to work with is off of the website. So if we go to the details, it says 173, 44, 52. So we'll go in here and change it to 173, 44, and 52. Let me double check that. Good. I'm using Alt-Tab to jump from one window to the next, just for those who are curious about how I'm switching from one window to another. Now that I've set that here for the shading, if I really want to get into surface pattern and cut pattern, I can do those as well, but I'll leave that as it is. I'd head over to the Appearance tab and change this color as well to make sure it's 173, 44, 52. So 173, 44, and 52. Now the Appearance tab is meant for you to set up the BIM data necessary so that the information is applied to the physical model geometry in the Revit model so that it looks that way in a realistic visual style. So once I make the changes that I need and I click OK, it now says SW6871 positive red. And if I've done it correctly, they should all change to the red. And the reason is because they're all the same right now. All I did was a rename. So what about the second one? The second one is really just a matter of you duplicating this and calling it a different color and applying different materials. So let's do this again. Let's do SW1 and let's see if anything pops up. Let's try this blue color here called Soar because it looks kind of nice. Head over to the Details tab, and so again, we rinse and repeat. So it's SW6799. 6799. And I'm going to put in SOAR just to be safe. Now, once I've done that, I can click Edit, go into the Materials, and again, I could also right-click and duplicate this, but I prefer to go back to the default paint color and push it back up again here because I want to make sure that it's using its own set of assets, material assets, and not necessarily tying back to a different material that's been used before. So again, the paint material from the library has been copied up to the project. I'm going to rename this one SW6799. 6799 SOAR. And then again, we head over to the Identity tab, select this, copy it to the Windows clipboard, head over here, change that, and then change the RGB colors, which are 195, 223, 195, 223. You can also hit Tab, by the way, to jump to each of the cells, and 232. And then again, go to the Graphics tab and do the same thing. 195, 223, and 232. Good. Now that that's finished, I hit OK, and that gets updated. They both are showing the same colors. I hit OK, and OK again, and OK again, and now it's updated. So basically, you have to rinse and repeat for each wall to display the different colors that you want. Now I'm going to close this without bothering to save it, just so that I can show you that was the sequence that I used to create all the different colors. And then to create this view, I just created a new 3D view, and I saved and oriented and locked that view so I can zoom in and out and pan, but I can't rotate. Plus, it allows me to put in the annotation, to put in text with a leader and write down what I wanted. There will be instances where, depending on what kind of material that you're working with, you may need to actually pull a color swatch to be used in the material aspect of the Revit software. So for example, here for SOAR, I expanded this particular website's functionality, and I can use software, say, for example, Snagit, or some other capturing software to capture a region. So now that I have the Snagit editor open, you can see that it captures just a small area. And depending on what kind of software that you have to work with, you can use it to crop just the area that you need. And that way you have a color swatch to work with. and then just take it and save this file where you need to. I'll put it under my temp folder, and we'll call it SW. And if I remember the color sequence, it is 6799. So 6799 SOAR. Save. Now that that's saved, if we need to apply it to our Revit model, then what we want to do is we want to pick a material that we can work with. So I'm going to take this and hold Control and grab this and copy, and I'll copy it. I'll take this one and I'll go to the type properties and I'm going to duplicate it and call it SW6799 SOAR. Now going into edit and going into structure, we're going to create one where we can apply that swatch material. So if we look very carefully for the current one, say that says naval, and we go to the appearance tab, there is no space or section over here that allows us to apply that bitmap or JPEG image because the paint and material that comes shipped with the software doesn't have that function. So what you want to do is you want to look at the AEC materials that might have that capability, like for example flooring. If I go to flooring and pull in bamboo just for fun and look at the properties, you can see under the appearance tab there's an image swatch here. So I can technically use this as a new material that has an image of what I want. So I'm going to rename this one SW6799 SOAR 2, just to make sure I didn't accidentally make one prior. Good. So let me rename it back to SOAR. And now that I've done that, again, I can go to the Identity tab, grab that, copy it, go to the Graphics tab, put in the color that we need, which is pushing that back. It is 195, 223, 195, 223, and 232. Then we head over to the Appearance tab, and same thing. Because we're using the material, you don't have RGB here, you have an image. So I can click the text, not the image swatch, click the text. What happens is it opens up a dialog box to ask you what file to work with. And since I put it in my C temp folder, I have to head over to C to temp and pick that particular file. And because I'm lucky, this is just a standard flat color. There's no patterning whatsoever. Even if I click the swatch, I don't have to worry about things like the texture editor dialog box that specifies scaling, repeating, and position and things like that. So I'm lucky with this particular material. And then obviously changing the verbiage so you're not using something from past. Okay, so let's delete all this that I don't need. And then there's an advanced highlight control color here that's using a special JPEG file. You may need to change this as well. So let's switch this to C drive, temp, and pick the same one. And when you're done, this physical tab, by the way, is also a tab that you can add, and you can also add thermal. The physical tab is for BIM data that you apply to a structural aspect of the material for things like structural analysis. And then thermal is for thermodynamics and getting an R value of the wall or the system family that you're dealing with. In this case, we don't need to worry about any of that. So I'm just going to go ahead and make sure that this is good. When I'm finished, I have my specific one that I'm working with applied, and there you go. And then again, obviously change this to 6799, and this is SOAR. So that's how you go about applying the material that you want to an actual object in Revit using, say, something from, say, Sherwin Williams. And right now, my current visual style is set to realistic. So if I switch to shaded, this is another way to double check to make sure that the colors are coming out fine. Because if they are, they really shouldn't change. See? So they all look like they're holding very, very well. And so this has been a good, quick tutorial on how to take a material that you want to work with from a website, say for example Sherwin Williams, in this case it was paint, and how to apply this specific paint color with the RGB values into your Revit model on an actual model object. Thank you very much for watching.